Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And we've got one for you now. Well, when I say a huge star, she's not as big as she was. I'm talking physically. Lisa Lampanelli, how are you?
Oh, I'm glad you've noticed.
I don't recognise you. What happened to my Lisa? There we were a few years ago in Detroit, and you look like the size of a small house. Now you're a bikini model.
I think more of a cottage or maybe a guest house.
You look delicious now. How have you done it?
You know what? I very publicly had gastric sleeve surgery, which is a surgery that they cut out most of your stomach so you can't eat like you have 9 rectums anymore. And I lost, 4 years ago, I lost 107 pounds, and I've kept it all off for 4 years, so I'm very proud of myself.
Yeah, congratulations, because a lot of people do that, lose it, and then immediately put it back on and eat through it.
Yes, we call that the Carney Wilson syndrome. I'm sorry, that was mean, but it's still okay.
Yeah, it is. And that's what we love about you. You are the queen of mean. I got to know you on the Howard Stern show years and years ago, and you've created this brand, which is phenomenal. I think you're probably selling more tickets in comedy than anybody else around the world. You never stop working, do you?
Well, I probably don't sell more than anyone, but I do sell consistently, which is, there's an old song from Follies that says, I'm still here. And it's like, yeah, it's like, maybe, I never will play Madison Square Garden, but I think I've been working with big ticket sales since, for 26 years now, so I'm very lucky.
I love the fact that you have more energy on stage and more gags per minute than anybody else I've seen. I think you might be the greatest female comic in history ever, seriously.
Well, if you tell that to Amy Schumer tomorrow, I'm going to be really pissed off.
She doesn't make me laugh. These girls are great and they're all wonderful, but they're a bit too nice for me. And you've never taken that path, have you? Did you make that decision right at the beginning that you were going to be the one that said it as it was?
Well, I don't even think it was a conscious decision. I just think I'm a little bit mentally ill, seriously, in fact that I don't know anymore what's inappropriate. Like I was doing, this was years ago, I was doing a benefit for like the St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And the person who put on the event were the Trumps. And I had just done Celebrity Apprentice. And I remember saying to my husband at the time, is it okay if I do that joke about having sex with Donald Trump Jr. in his backstage area, like his backstage area? And Jimmy's like, are you kidding? No. And I'm like, why? He goes, you have no filter. You don't even know what's inappropriate anymore. So I think that's the problem. I always thought twisted things, and I just figure I should say them out loud.
I've just spent 3 weeks in Vegas, and I think this town has got more bullshit per square inch than anywhere else in the world. And it seems to me we need people like you who are going to call out celebrities who, let's face it, are just lying and cheating to create careers now. And that's really what you do with every facet of life. You seem to sort of see through the bullshit.
Yeah, I do, because I kind of see it in my everyday life, and I'm like, okay, in real life, I don't call people on their stuff because I don't take their inventory, but on stage, it's like that's where I make my money, so all bets are off, you know. 2 years ago when my dad died, who was such a gentleman, I remember saying, okay, I'm never going to curse off stage again and to honor my dad, but on stage, that's what put him in the good room at the nursing home, so all bets are off.
And you do have a charm and a warmth. I think the way you get away with it is the character that you have on stage, and that's a given. That's something that you've been blessed with. Did you always find being funny easy? Because a lot of people make it look very difficult.
Yeah, I did. Not stand-up. Stand-up's not easy. I mean, for anyone, I don't think, even if you have sort of a warmth or you have, sort of a gift of gab.
Yeah.
But I think being funny, just kind of things would naturally fall out of my mouth that are funny. Like, I remember when we're growing up, they say in the family unit there's always one kid who's the boss, who's the good girl, who's the, mascot, and I was always the mascot. I was the one who, even if my mother was pissed off and yelling at us, I could just say a little something that would take all the, the nasty energy out of the room. So I think I always found that pretty easy to do, and I'm kind of grateful because now I can make a living at it.
I love the fact that you craft these punchlines and they come fast and furious. Is there ever a point on stage where you go, shit, what am I going to say next? Because there's a lot of material there, isn't there, in the 90 minutes?
Oh, yeah. And I very rarely am like, it's never a panicky, what am I going to say next? It's always oh my God, which one of those things do I want to say next?
Right.
Because I just love being surprised, and I love oh my God, I do a Q&A period during the act, and I'm driving the people in Vegas insane because, you're supposed to stick to your time in Vegas, but I always go over because people ask me 45 minutes worth of questions alone, and I'm like, I love this because it's a surprise to me what they're going to ask. It's a surprise what's going to come flying out of my mouth. So to me, I trust myself enough to do it. Like, you do your job well, and you can go in and perform it. So, yeah, it's more fun for me to not know what's going to happen next.
I've got great respect for the comedians like Ken Dodd in England, who's got that Rolodex of jokes. Joan Rivers had that, and you've certainly got it. How do you do that? Where do you pull them from? Because there's so many up there. As you say, knowing which one to pull and pulling it at the right moment is a true craft.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes things come out that I haven't said in 20 years, and then my opening act will say, is that a new one? That's really good. And I'll go, no, dude, that was from 20 years ago. And it's just something that you go, thank God I still have my mind and my memory. And that's one great thing about the many things about Joan Rivers. So I think the whole point is just to keep the mind sharp. And honestly, I don't think you ever get Alzheimer's if you're a comedian because you're always using your head.
Yeah, and you can't be off focus for a second. There was one joke you did that I thought was probably the greatest joke ever. It was an Obama joke about change. And some people would say it's a racist joke, but it isn't. That's what you're clever at. You take something that's obvious, and then you do that clever zinger twisty thing at the end that only comedians like you can do. How do you think of something like that? Because it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's just one that just popped out of my mouth when I was literally on stage. And thank God I tape all my shows. So what I do is that's my process. I never sit down at the computer and just write jokes or anything. I'll just have it pop out, then I'll listen to the tape, and I'll go, oh my God, I have to put that in as something regular and then sharpen it up, and suddenly it's a bit. So I think what happens is with me, I write on stage, and that's the only place I'm really free with my 100% being in the moment. I think you have to be totally, or I have to be totally in the moment to have that stuff come out. So yeah, I love just riffing on stuff. And people always say, oh, but what if it bombs? I'm like, I'm funny. I knew how to make my mother laugh when she was hitting us with a spatula. Are you kidding me? I can make people laugh in Vegas.
You'd have a court case over that today, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
What I love about you is there is literally nothing you won't talk about. Or are there subjects where you draw the line?
No, the only line I ever drew was if I couldn't make it funny. Because, my job is to make people laugh. I don't use them to get therapy. Like, that's my particular bone that I have to pick with comedians is when they go up and just, like you said, tell you about their day and they're trying to get to something funny and they're trying to get therapy out of you. I'm there to give the audience a little laughter therapy so they can kind of have a lighter day for a minute. It's why I hate when I can't make something funny and I won't do it. For instance, September 11th is still one of those things that only true comic greats can make funny. Like I remember Colin Quinn could do it. I remember Nick DiPaolo. A couple days after September 11th, they were really doing well-crafted, excellent, meaningful bits about it. I never could make it funny, so I said, you know what, this isn't my job. But if I can make it funny, I can make AIDS, cancer, and rape funny, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, and you do. I sat there in that Fox Theatre in Detroit, and to hear the roar of the crowd is so thrilling. What's it like for you standing on stage hearing that? Is it utterly thrilling? Is there any way of describing the feeling of getting a big laugh?
Yeah, it used to be the thing that made me feel best in the world, but I think, honestly, I hate to act all serious, but, I've been able to reconstruct that feeling in my real life so that my only joy isn't on stage. So, for instance, when I'm just sitting around, hanging out with my dog, or I'm, upstairs, I just started to do painting. When I have my mom over and a bunch of friends for game night, things like that where it gets really raucous and loud and we're all laughing. I'm like, wow, you can really recreate that good feeling everywhere. And again, comics think they have to be miserable to be a successful comic. I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm just like, wow, I have the fullest, best life, even though it's a simple life.
Yeah.
So there's nothing like just every day living it with so much joy that you're just smiling all the time, and that's what it feels like on stage. I'm smiling all the time.
In 5 years, I've managed to lose 5 stone by doing basically no carbs and stuff like that. But I still see myself as a morbidly obese guy. What do you view yourself as? Because the pictures of you right now are so different from the Lisa that we see on the posters back 5 or 10 years ago even. Have you ever been more content with your image, or are you still fighting the fat girl inside?
Oh, no, I was always... The problem was I was never the fat girl inside. I was always the skinny girl inside because I grew up thin. And I was always like, why are people saying I'm fat? Were they crazy? And honestly, that's how mentally ill I am. And now I don't feel like I'll never use the word beautiful, or at least not in the next few years. Beautiful, hot, sexy, none of that stuff. That doesn't even touch how I feel. I just feel so comfortable and happy. And like I feel literally, I'm not even kidding, like I feel 19 years old because I have so much energy. Yeah. Like last night, I think I was up from 1 in the morning till 9 this morning, just kind of doing work and having fun, and I went running, and I'm like, whoa, this is weird. I just have so much energy, and it's not even speed. Like some people use speed to lose weight. I'm like, wow, I didn't even have to. So yeah, so I feel like comfortable, content, and like I at least look cute in clothes. So at this point, I can't give myself huge compliments other than, oh, I look cute in clothes. So that's why I feel much more content. I'm terrible out of clothes, by the way, because when you're 54-ish, you don't lose cellulite. So I still look like an ass with a gravel driveway on my ass, but that's okay.
And of course, people treat you differently. I know it's not nice to admit, but people do seem to like thin people more than fat people. It's just the way of the world. It's not right. It's not fair. But it is true, isn't it?
Well, it's interesting. I wrote a play that I'm so excited. We just got the news that it's being produced in the fall in New York City off Broadway. Yeah. This has been one of my dreams for a long time. And it's called Stuffed. And it's about 4 women with eating problems. And it's really funny, but also kind of an emotional show, too. But what's great about it is I say that the last legal thing you're allowed to call someone and not have to apologize for is the word fat. Because you can't say the N-word, you can't call a person a racial or sexual stereotype or slur, but you can call somebody fat any day you want because it's their fault. Right. So, yeah, I do feel some people treat fat people badly, but I also do feel sometimes when you have low self-esteem as a fat person, you bring that to the table, and your low self-esteem makes you be treated worse. Yeah. So it's sort of everybody's fault. They really have to bring their best to the table all the time.
What do you make of the celebrity world we're in now? I see people with 1 million followers on Twitter who just seem to pout 37 times a day and take pictures. The days of true stars seems to have gone. Will it ever come back, or is this what we're left with now, the Twitter generation?
I think it's going to be a rare person who stands up and says Twitter and Facebook and all that suck. I'm one of the few who does. I think Louis C.K. also doesn't do it anymore. I think he took his Twitter page down. I do it only to promote things, but I don't ever publicize my real life, not because I'm private, but, dude, because I forget to. Yeah. Like, I was never a big picture taker, so I haven't turned into one. Right. And I just enjoy the moment. It takes people out of the moment, and I admire anyone who kind of goes, no, I'm just living my life, and I forgot to document it. If it happens, all these people think if it happens and nobody sees it, it didn't really happen. Right. That's not true. It all happened. You just have to enjoy it.
And nothing pisses me off more than sitting in a theatre. I've seen 50 shows in Vegas in the last 3 weeks, and there they are watching the whole show through their bleeding phones, and you think, put it down and be in the moment. I mean, what are they filming it for? Oh, my
God. You would laugh so much. I wish somebody had taped this at a show I just did. This woman in the front, I'm used to seeing that occasionally, but I'm pretty hardcore, I think, and will yell at people, so I think they know better. But at one point in the front row, a woman was texting or something, and I go, oh, are you a doctor? And she's like, what? And I go, are you emergency heart surgery you have to perform? I said, because if that's why your excuse is that you're texting on your effing phone, fine. If not, you can get the F out. And, I certainly didn't say F. And we got in a whole big discussion about it. Then I'm just like, yeah, if you're bored, leave. I'll still have your ticket money, but 90% of the audience wouldn't even dare pull that out.
I had a friend of mine in the UK last week who was halfway through a show and saw this woman on her phone for about 20 minutes, and he stopped the show and said, what are you doing? Why aren't you with me? And she said, I'm checking on the dogs. I've got an app to watch them in my kitchen. And you think, you've paid $100 for a ticket and you're going to sit watching your dogs for free at home.
Oh my God, it's disgusting. Next up, they'll be watching their fish. I mean, those people need to stay home.
Yeah.
But, again, there's something about my stage persona, and maybe also a lot of it is, like you said, about punchlines per minute. I do punchline like every 6 seconds, that I won't allow people to even think of doing that. And if they do, hey, watch your damn dog. I don't care.
And one of the things, very finally, you talk about a lot on Stern was your former husband, and all that came and all that went. Are you okay with yourself now, and are you back in love? Where are you at emotionally? Because you made that so public, didn't you, with Jimmy Big Balls and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah, and what's so beautiful about it is what perfect timing you have. It's like it's meant to be. I went to their wedding on Saturday. Jimmy and Jenna, who I introduced to each other, got married Saturday.
Wow.
And I was one of the last to leave. Me and my gay friend went and we danced our butts off. And honestly, I said, and this is the biggest compliment I can give Jimmy and his wife, I wrote on their guest book, to the Hamilton of couples, because, as you know, Hamilton is such a phenomenon. They are a great couple, and I'm so lucky to have, had something in my hand in that. But no, I'm not dating yet. I figure, you know what, let's give it some time. Let's give it some breathing room. I think I'm going to take a rest. And once I'm done with menopause and have some sexual feelings left in my lower regions, maybe I'll get out there again.
Have you ever tried sitting on the washing machine on a fast spin? That might get you started.
You know what? I'm going to try. I'll have to hang up and do that right now.
You are truly one of my favourite people ever. I love your appearances on Stern, and thank God to him for doing what he does and getting you on and bringing you to people like me, because I'd never have known about you. I beg you to come to England, because you're so rare, and what you do is only akin to someone as brilliant as Joan Rivers, and I hold her up there with the absolute best.
Wow. Well, thank you for using our names in the same sentence. That's a huge honor. So God bless, and hey, you may see me in England sometime.
And interestingly, the last time I saw Joan was at the showroom at the Venetian, where you'll be appearing this Saturday for Lipshtick, which is a wonderful cabaret room. And then you're going to the bigger theatre on the 30th of June too. So you're back there twice.
Yeah, it's great. They have me like once every couple months or so, and it's honestly one of my favorite places to play. They treat me so well. Plus, the audience is very interesting, let's say. So we always have something to make fun of. So I look forward to seeing you there. And
by the way, if you see me, please leave me alone. I love watching the show. I don't want to be part of it.
You got it. I won't look for a guy who lost 5 stone, whatever that means.
Lisa Lampanelli, one of the biggest stars in the world, one of my favourite comedians, and a huge star, appearing at the Venetian Hotel and Casino with Lipshtick on Saturday nights. You can Google Lisa Lampanelli Venetian to get tour dates. Lisa, great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
God bless. See you soon, man.